You've decided to run, 243 kilometres, the Marathon des Sables through the Sahara Desert.
Yes.
Why?
Why? Great question. Well, actually, 243 was what it was in 2007. This year, it's actually been bumped up, and it's the toughest challenge ever. It's the 23rd year. It's actually now 245.3 kilometres. So, to be precise, we don't want to miss out on any distance there. So, yeah, basically the reason that's really driving me is that I'm doing it to support a charity called Facing Africa, which is a UK-based charity to support kids between the ages of 1 and 6 that are suffering from a disease of poverty, which is really serious and quite a graphic disease, which basically comes about by malnutrition and starts with an ulcer in the gum line, turns into a gangrenous infection, and then eats away the cheekbone, jawbone and nasal cavity. So it's quite a serious disease, and I'm quite passionate about raising funds for these kids who have a day-to-day survival struggle. And I think this is going to be a bit of a day-to-day survival struggle for me, without a doubt.
Yeah, with that charity, we saw a pamphlet you've got explaining. We didn't want to show it because it is rather graphic, but it's called NOMA, and
correct.
There was an instance on, I think, RPA, that television show, where they brought out a kid to Australia to fix him up because he's one side of his face basically was totally disfigured. So that's what you're trying to raise money for.
Without a doubt, yeah.
And find cures for as well.
Yes, definitely.
Fair enough. Now, just break us down the race.
Sure.
I said before the break 8 marathons in a row. You came in the studio and said, "Oh, thanks for pumping it up. It's actually 6, but by the end of it, it'll feel like 66, won't it?"
Well, that's right. And I think that it is 6 back-to-back marathons without a doubt, but the biggest stage is actually between 70 and 80 kilometres. Okay. So, yeah, that's right. So that'll be an overnight stage for me, without a doubt. And there's going to be quite a bit of walking involved because, I mean, not only do you have the sand to endure, but you've also got the fact that we're talking about between 45 and 50 degree temperatures here, up to 150 metre high sand dunes. And you've also got other little challenges such as snakes, scorpions, and something called a camel spider, which is also poisonous and unique to the Saharan desert.
Now, that 80k stretch comes 3 days. That's the third last one. I was looking at that and I'm thinking, 80 Ks. Yeah. And then I look at the next one. The next one's 42. So you back that up with a marathon the next day.
Exactly, and that's what apparently most of the competitors are ultramarathon athletes, and apparently that's what they're all looking forward to, is the official marathon distance in actually being able to go out there and complete that absolute full marathon, and that's what they test themselves against. For me, it's going to be a test every moment, just to take one step forward and make sure I complete this.
Before we get to how you prepared for this, just tell us what you're allowed to take on the run and what conditions you're expected to face.
Yeah, absolutely. Basically, every competitor has restrictions in terms of, it's a totally self-sufficient race, so you've literally got to take everything on your back. You've got a weight limit of up to 15 kilograms, and you've got to have all your food, your sleeping bag, pretty much everything right on your shoulders that you're carrying all the way. The only thing you're actually provided with 9 litres of water a day, which are given at stages throughout the event. Saying that though, if you do take in all your fluids within the first 10 Ks, well, you're pretty much screwed for the rest of the race. So you've got to really manage your intake pretty well, and that's going to be a massive challenge in itself in being able to make sure I rehydrate and get enough fluids and support along the way.
Now, you have no great history. I'm not denigrating you, but reading your profile, you've got no great history as a runner. It's not like, you've been doing cross country since the age of 11 or something. Exactly. This is a recent passion.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, absolutely. I think that I've had a background in rugby, going back quite a few years now, and I've always done quite a little bit of running in terms of 10 Ks, and did my first half marathon back in September of last year in the Sydney Half Marathon. So completed that in an hour and 50, and I was quite happy to get through that, even though I struggled to walk for the rest of the week after that. But yeah, I've been doing a lot of training for the last year, and really getting in shape to prepare myself as best as possible for this.
What, like jogging to Canberra or something like that? Or?
Not quite the old Cliff Young shuffle or the Giannis Kouros days, but yeah, no, it's been more a very much a high cardio intake in terms of hitting the gym regularly, in terms of the elliptical, and I'm really passionate about spin classes now, so pretty much doing spin classes probably about 3 to 4 times a week as well, and just getting the Ks in as much as possible as well.
Is there any way that you can simulate the conditions and almost acclimatise to it?
Look, I think being from Australia, one of the hopes had been that being in Sydney will expected to have a really warm summer. Now, February, as you may know, is actually not so warm, and I think I heard it was actually the coldest in some 50 years, so it wasn't really the best acclimatisation for it. Saying that, though, I think a bit of time spent in the sauna and doing Bikram yoga and doing little things like that certainly is going to give me a little bit of an assimilation to the conditions, more so than anything else.
Oh, you should have been from Adelaide. I mean, had a stinking summer, yes.
Trotted across the Nullarbor and back again.
Yeah, exactly. The Roosters, the Sydney Roosters, I understand you caught up with them for a few training sessions. How did that come about and how did it go?
Sure, I was really fortunate to meet Brad Fittler one morning over breakfast and told him what I was doing, and he was great in terms of opening up my story to the team and being able to let me talk to the boys, address the guys, and then headed down to the Wanda Sand and did a little bit of a training session with them.
Now that's not Braithen Astor on the left, that's actually you. You rocked up.
As Marathon Man.
As Marathon Man, that's your alter ego, is it?
It is, yeah. I think when I decided to take on this challenge, I decided to, I guess, have a little bit of point of difference to anybody else, and I was fortunate enough to get the marathonman.com.au website, and thought, why not go all the way and become the Marathon Man? So I've really gone out there, put myself on the line, and thought it was a great opportunity to be able to raise awareness of what I'm doing in terms of not only the event but also the charity that I'm looking to raise funds for as well.
We'll talk about the event in just a moment, because one of our producers who normally collects bottles and cans at Central Station in Sydney saw you this morning handing out the flyer. I was a bit offended that you were moving in on his territory, but we've worked through it with him, and he's okay about that now.
Great.
I noticed though that you have to pay a security deposit, and for that you get a signal flare and it covers the cost of helicopter extraction. That's going to fill you with confidence, isn't
Absolutely, yeah. I think that this is a very serious event, and it's actually known as the toughest foot race on earth. So it's a big thing, and they do give you a flare, which basically they talk you through it, and there is the extraction side of it as well. So much so that actually a competitor did pass away last year from this event, and there have been other stories going back where they've actually lost competitors in the desert for up to 9 days. So it's pretty crazy, and hopefully my navigational skills will be up to speed.
Well, gather round, men. I'll tell you the tale of Mauro Prosperi, the one I think you're talking about. He got lost. He ended up disorientated and ran in the wrong direction, ultimately running several hundred kilometres into Algeria. After 36 hours, he ran out of food and water. He survived by drinking his own urine, eating bats resident in an abandoned mosque, and the occasional snake found in the desert. Not wanting to die a long drawn-out death, he attempted to commit suicide by slitting his wrists. It failed because a lack of water had caused his blood to thicken, and it clotted the wound before he died. He was finally found by a nomadic family. He was shifted to an Algerian military camp, taken to hospital. He lost 18 k's in body weight. He had a bit of liver damage, but apart from that, he lived to tell the tale.
He was fine.
Yeah, so that doesn't put you off, something like that?
Look, Adam, thanks so much for sharing that with me. It's really, really appreciated. Look, I've heard a few stories, and I've got to say that talking about this to a few other people in the streets, they're always very willing to share stories of people having amputations and the like from going out and doing some crazy heat-induced events like this. So it's yeah, exactly right. It's a little insane, and there's no doubt that it's going to be a massive challenge, and something that I think that just to survive in itself is going to be a feat, really.
Yeah, they say that that 50% of the challenge is in the head. You don't
Definitely.
have to be supremely fit. You have to be strong of mind.
Mentally.
Just before we let you go, you've got a special event coming up to raise money for the charity. Can
Yes.
we just hear about that? We'll have a look at the flyer you've got out there.
Sure.
Just tell us about what you've got planned.
Basically, I'm putting together a Marathon Man Gala charity fundraising event on this coming Thursday night at the Star Room in Darling Harbour, which is on level 6 of the IMAX down at Cockle Bay in Darling Harbour. And it's a 3-course meal, including drinks, live and silent charity auction items with some great memorabilia, including 2007 NRL jersey, a 2007 Wallabies jersey, Waratahs jersey, and some incredible music, sporting memorabilia, and also movie memorabilia as well. On top of that, I've got Australia's premier illusionist in Sam Powers, and then I've also got some live music and some great acts throughout the night as well, which will be a lot of fun. So it's going to be a fantastic event, and I'd love all Fox Sports viewers to be able to join me on the night. So it's going to be a great night, and what I'm doing is seats are $125, which is encompassing all those, as I've just said. And I'd also like to extend a special offer tonight that for every 10 seats sold, which is a table, basically we've got a 10% discount on that, and if Fox Sports is mentioned, I'm also able to give one free seat as well, which would be great to have as many people along on the night to support the Facing Africa charity and also farewell myself, the marathon man, into the Sahara.
Awesome. Well, that's marathonman.com.au.
Yeah.
Begins March 30.
That's the one. And if you're in Sydney, you might see him in a train station with that. Don't be alarmed, kids, if you see a man with it's Marathon Man.
I don't know whether you mentioned too, but it should be said that you've given up your job to have a go at this. So
Absolutely.
All respect to you. Good luck with it, and we wish you luck and hope that you raise a bucket load of money.
Appreciate that.
Because it's a fantastic cause.
Perhaps I'll get to see you on the other side.
Hope so. You're welcome back in any time you want.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks,
Appreciate
Trent.
it.
Cheers, Trent. Coming up on News and Views, the Tars touch up the Brumbies.
But next is why Bayern are the UEFA Cup favourites.
Out of the blue, and Daniel Zitka has been beaten by